You are listening to the IFH Podcast Network. For more amazing filmmaking and screenwriting podcasts, just go to ifhpodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to the Successful Screenwriter Podcast, where we discuss anything and everything screenwriting. Here we interview successful screenwriters and filmmakers to find out just what it takes to make it in the industry. All right, welcome to the podcast. We have a pretty cool guest on today. This is Mr. CJ Walley from Script Revolution. CJ, thanks for being on with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeffrey. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. We like to reach out to the community and kind of find out ways for our writers to get success. Now, before I do a deep dive into Script Revolution, because it really interests me, I want to first hit you with your origin story. So where do you come from? What inspired you into writing? What inspired Script Revolution?
Wow. Okay. So I'm in Staffordshire in the UK, hence why everything's a little bit dingy in the background. It's dark here. It's November the 6th. Fireworks may go off at any moment for a variety of reasons. I got into screenwriting in 2012. I'm pretty open about this. I had a bit of a life crisis.
Okay.
A major kind of full breakdown the lot. It's been a rough decade. It's been a rough 10 years. Okay, yeah, and I'm I think it's something we should all talk about more, and I think it's something a lot of writers go through. And I'm really an open book on that whole journey, so to speak. I guess isn't really over yet, but I had that kind of massive crisis at 32. On the floor sobbing, big breakdown. Oh, writing's going to fix all this. Wow, worst place to go. Like, of all the things to a career to try and break into, and a part of the brain to unlock after all this time. Worst possible thing I could have done.
Wow.
But yeah, and it's been a rough 10 years, an exciting 10 years, slowly working my way up to actually becoming a working writer, producer now.
Yeah, well, 10 years is the key number. It really is. It took me about 10 years before I started to get taken seriously, 15 before I really started making inways. So your journey, it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm glad that you're willing to talk about the stigma on mental health and things like that. I often talk about my big dark night of the soul. So I'm glad that you've had yours and that you're able to pull through it and really kind of show an example of how you can get through it. And I think that's wonderful because people need to see that in our culture. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that we're all probably crying inside, so
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. And it's interesting, you say you're sort of glad to hear it. And I think it is a good thing to hear because I do think almost everyone goes through this. I totally agree with you. We need to success looks so easy with hindsight, and people who have success at any level always come across like they're just walking through this and they've got all this confidence and this swagger
that's
and
the whole
else.
Instagram thing, man.
Yes,
people are putting the pictures up and I totally agree with you. I know it comes off as wrong. I don't want it to sound rude, but I am glad to hear it because it's something that we need to speak about. And I think by speaking about it allows other people to understand that okay, somebody that I'm listening to is going through this. They are human. I'm not the odd man out. I had a big serious breakdown years back where I was just like, I don't know if I could do it anymore. It was actually the first time that I got feedback on a script. I remember taking a buddy to a bar and I was just like, I don't think I can do this, man. It was too hard. Now I don't know if you can see my background. I'm a little bit of a Star Wars guy.
Just a bit.
And in that bar, which I had never been to before, a Wookiee walks in right behind me. And then Jedis walk in and it turned into a Star Wars night. They had a Star Wars party. And my buddy was like, this is a sign, dude. So
I like that. I'm a fatalist myself. I'm always looking for these kinds of this is blessed, this is cursed type thing.
Yeah.
And I think, absolutely. I would absolutely take that myself as a huge sign. But wow, yes. If you are vulnerable, you are weak, you're sensitive. It's even worse if you're desperate, which I think a lot of writers are, and this will link into Script Revolution to a degree. going in there, getting that feedback. Writers, we are a snarky crowd of people, and I don't know why that snarkiness is encouraged, because from my experience, once you actually get onto the actual filmmaking side, you start working with people who are having success. These people are positive, optimistic, complimentary, and kind. And I really hope, if there's anything anyone ever takes from this conversation, it's that you will find kindness with success. All of the nastiness, the resentment, the bitterness, the snarkiness, the snidiness, that's all at the base level. That's the kind of trolling area. It's the internet. It's
my God, you're absolutely right. I mean, social media can be crawling with it. Snarky, I love it. I say bitter, the bitter screenwriter. And it is that level of people that haven't made it, want to make it, have been trying to make it, are frustrated in that industry. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started The Successful Screenwriter, is to kind of provide paths for people to see there is a way to get through this. You can be optimistic. You can have hope. You just have to put the work and effort in. And I'm assuming that's where Script Revolution comes from.
Yeah. So, like I say, I got in at 2012. Okay, 2000, end of 2012, or I think it's 12 or 13. The Blacklist launches. Everything changes. Okay. And I was riding this wave of watching people completely reformat the way they look at the industry and trying to get into the industry, and what to expect and what they expect to go through, various gatekeepers and things like that. And I watched this change take place over a few years, where people were previously under the impression, at least, that breaking in was all about sending out queries and hoping those queries turn into reads and doing a lot of networking.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I've talked about this before, and I actually want to get your take on it before we get too far down the road. We will come back to this, I promise. The query situation, I always equate it to pulling the arm of the slot machine.
Yes.
This next one, this is my one, right? And then you almost kind of get addicted to that querying thing, where all your hopes and dreams lie in that. And I think it's a false hope, and I think that can lead to the bitterness. And I'd like to know, what do you think about that?
Well, it is to a degree false hope. It leads to a scattergun mentality, of just kind of spamming everyone and please, will this be the one? And I sense that. I come from a business to business marketing background, 20 years doing that before I got into this, and I could sense this kind of, like you say, one-arm bandit mentality of just pulling the arm and hoping everything comes through. But the thing is, it was free. It was costing people nothing to do,
right?
And what they were getting back was usually positivity and motivation. Yes, it would be a pass, but it was just a pass. It was just a sorry, in Hollywood Kills with Kindness, it was like, thanks, but no thanks. Keep going though. We like this, or contact us next time. And people were always networking off the back of it. They were building their contact list. They were in direct contact with people. And I understood the problem of supply and demand.
Yeah.
Emails changed everything. The access to computers has changed everything. Low-cost screenwriting software or non-screenwriting software that can be made to look like, format screenplays.
Right.
That has created this massive oversupply into an industry which is centralized around Hollywood, and where the independent side of film is just dying as the big studio side dominates. And I could see this huge problem. I could see that you've got 50,000 screenplays at least a year being submitted into a system where you've got less than 100 studios making maybe less than 100 big films. I get that. So when I got into it, these services that were emerging kind of felt like the solution. I was thinking, this makes sense. I submit a script, someone evaluates the script, it gives a score. And of course, having never been in any kind of real creative industry, having never been in screenwriting and film, I totally underestimated the power of subjectivity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
absolutely didn't appreciate how pretentious, difficult, finicky, short-sighted, and just plain wrong a lot of low-tier readers are. Because I wasn't reading the history books at the time. I wasn't reading how successful people became successful and ran into these problems. So like a lemming, I run in and I start submitting my early work and start hitting the credit card. Okay, submit, pay. Oh, it's a 5. 5's good. 5. I'm in the middle. What are the problems? Oh, okay, a little bit of structure, dialogue's a bit whatever. Okay, new draft. Okay, Hollywood, here I come. A 7. I'm in. I was thinking, I'm in. This is it. A guy's going to arrive at the door, cigar in mouth. You're going to Hollywood land, boy. Get on the plane.
That's
We're
hilarious.
off. Just a little bit of tweaks here and there. Okay, bang! Like say, pull the one on my ching. Where are my 7 cherries or whatever?
It's interesting. It's interesting you say this, CJ, because I run a WeFixYourScript.com, and we take a different kind of approach to it. So we look at ourselves as mentors, and so we educate writers, we teach writers how to do it, and then we will evaluate your work. But it's all about making you better and taking you to that next level. Now, there is a predatory culture out there surrounded around screenwriters. Well, they will take your money. They will provide you. And I love how you call this low tier coverage. I love that. That is the absolute right way to say it. So yeah, they'll give you coverage. It won't mean anything. It's not going to help you as a writer, but they're happy to take your, I don't know, whatever, $80 is. So you're 100% right on that. Really well. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I am being as polite as I possibly can when I say low tier reader. Usually if I'm on a forum or something, I'm using the term garbage. I'm saying garbage readers. They are doing more damage than good.
Because they're not professionals, right? They're not in the industry. They're not working. They're not writing. You got to have a mentor who's traveled the path before you, has seen all that garbage, has gone through all the junk, and has to can provide you with that wisdom. I mean, and then that's the approach we take. And if you can take that approach, that's the right approach. But no, there's just people out there that want to make a buck, and they're the bitter writer, So
they are, and it's that situation. People need hope. And what I saw from 2012 up to 2016 was this cynical, predatory approach where people are like, okay, let's sell some hope to people and let's make it into this. And I call it the kind of loot boxing of the screenplay world. And it's this idea of buy another loot box. They're $20, $25, $40. You've got this money. Come on. You want to be successful. You want to get into Hollywood. Yeah. This could be the answer. If you scratch off the right, if it comes out right for you, and people keep buying in. It becomes addictive. They kind of get validation one day. They are decimated the next. One of the darkest days of my life was Boxing Day. I mean, it would have been Boxing Day 2013 or something. I can never get the dates, the year right. And I got 2 evaluations through one of these websites. The big one at the time, and I got a 3 on both of these scripts.
You don't even have to name it. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and we all do.
And that company scores low on purpose. They push hard for the upsell, where if you come back to this rewrite for this much, we'll read it again, and it's just a way of them increasing revenue on writers. They go, oh, I got a 4 this time, but I got a 5 that time. Well, next time you're going to get a 5.5, and then you'll get a 5.6. It's just there's no legitimacy there.
I mean, I'm a little skeptical about whether or not it's actually that sophisticated. I actually think it's just badly executed. That's my personal view, but I have seen the stats, and I know that people have seen the stats, and it's always a 6 or a 7, and then it's a 5, and it's like it's almost weird how common that is. But I just think these people, I just think this is the problem when you bring people out of film schools or you go searching for readers on the internet. You're going to pick up the worst of the worst readers, and like I say, that Boxing Day, I was depressed. I was desperate. Sure. I thought I was going somewhere. I'd invested all this money to get a score, I thought this score meant the difference between making it or breaking it. I'm very open about this. I was on suicide watch after that. It was that dark. This is Boxing Day. And this is some miserable, petty, pedantic, the most horrible, cynical, nasty evaluations, ripping apart my work.
And hitting you personally, I mean, it hurts. Yeah. I feel you on that, dude.
Knife
I feel
in the
you.
back, and it killed this average score nonsense I was tied into. And I thought, this I can't do this. This is all over. And I wish I could go back. I wish I could time travel now, go back, put my arms around myself and say, this person is an idiot, and they are going nowhere, and they are doing reviews for minimum wage because they're not going anywhere or doing anything. Right. And this is everything to them is just to try and knock you down.
It's true.
And I wish I could go back now as a produced writer, as a writer producer now. I wish I could go back and say, you're gonna have a movie out soon. Okay,
well,
dude.
And we will get to that. Well, here's the thing. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I'm glad you can't go back in time.
This podcast is brought to you by TheSuccessfulScreenwriter.com, where you can find instructional books, videos, courses, and screenplays of Hollywood's biggest hits to download. As an added bonus, visit www.TheSuccessfulScreenwriter.com to download the Guide for Every Screenwriter for free. Yes, free. Available exclusively at TheSuccessfulScreenwriter.com. Now, back to our show.
Because you're a strong enough person that you came through that. You've learned so much. And anybody who goes through suffering, I mean, I've gone through it. I've had a pretty hell of a journey myself. And going through it, if you can elevate yourself past it, and then you look back and you say, I don't want anybody to ever have to go through that again, you will then set up ways to help other people. And I totally understand where you're coming from. And I'm so impressed by the fact that you're able to pull yourself out of that and take from it the fruit of your labors to create something for other people. And it really is commendable, CJ. I respect it because it's been my journey, and I know what it took for me to get through it, because I've been there. It was, is today the day, it's like, it's really bad.
Am I going to watch myself do that?
Yeah. And I get it. And people need to know that, like, yes, we have been there, guys like us, and you could take that and learn from it and build something out of it. And I guess that's what you've done with Script Revolution. I think that is, I want to hear about this. Tell me about it.
There's a fantastic segue, by the way. And I love the foreshadowing in the setup for this next part of the conversation. Very nicely executed.
Yes.
Writers. So I spend the next few years writing shorts, working on my craft and everything else. And I'm thinking, why doesn't someone just build a website where everyone can upload their scripts for free? I have a bit of a web development background. I was like, it can't be that for someone who's really good at programming and things like that. This would be a breeze. It could be free. Like, come on, do it. And year after year is going by, and it's getting worse. I'm watching more and more services come out. I'm seeing more and more competitions come out, and I'm just thinking someone has to jump in. I'm meeting more and more writers who are just going through this hell on their own. No one's really talking about it as groups. They're just like, you can see it in their eyes. They're just desperate, and they're just like, please, I need hope. I need a vision. I need a light at the end of the tunnel, because this is just closing in. The gatekeepers are closing in. So it was 4th of July, 2016, and I'm toying with this idea. And of course, I'm thinking of American Revolution, and I was like, Script Revolution. And
just like that, huh?
Reason, this name, just having this name, which I like register on the day, scriptrevolution.com on the day, for some reason, it's bizarre, causes me to go, I'm doing this.
Oh yeah.
I am doing this. And no word of a lie, and it sounds so corny and so fake, but I sit down and I code day and night, and I learn how to do it because I had a vague idea. And with, on the kind of fatalism area, some people gave me some great advice just out of the blue. They were talking about like web hosting and things like that. And I was like, I'll have a look at that. Oh, this is perfect. 1st of August, I launched scriptrevolution.com, where anybody can upload their screenplay for free, and anybody can join up and read them. And it's like that simple. And it's all about, let's just have something out there. Let's give people hope. let's put something out where you can just park your script or a synopsis about your script and get back to writing, knowing there's at least something out there which is giving you exposure, which is giving you a chance that you can just forget about and stop thinking, do I have enough money in my bank account to become a screenwriter on top of everything else? Am I going to win this competition or place in it? Am I going to get this evaluation next time? This is just something, do I need a website? No, this website does all of that. And it was built on this simple principle. You have a bio, you fill your bio in, you have your social media links on there so people can go find you on social media. You list your log lines, you get a portfolio of scripts under your bio, you click on those, you get a detailed script listing. And it was originally built on just sheer data. You would put all the metadata in for your script. So if you had this like kind of unusual thing, like maybe you write like Oliver Stone, but it's romantic comedy set in Mexico in the 1920s, you can do that and put it all in. So that person's like, for crying out loud, I'm looking for that 1920s Mexico script with an Oliver Stone twist. Where is it? They can find it.
The one.
And, yeah, the one that exists in the world. And the listing, random. No paying to go to the top, just a random listing, simple as that. So everyone gets their fair bit of exposure.
Well, so you take your script, you list it on your build out a profile, all that stuff. So for exposure, script, log line, synopsis, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. So what can our writers, our listeners who go on to Script Revolution, they do all of that. What can they do to take advantage of your platform to maximize their success? What kind of tidbits or tips can you give them?
So, I mean, I have to start the really cheesy area, which is have a great concept, have a great script, have a commercially orientated script in there. We can get a little bit into that maybe later and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what Script Revolution is all about is creating a multitude of different ways for a script to get more exposure. So for instance, people can like scripts, as simple as that. They can read scripts and they can give it an upvote. They can't downvote, they can only upvote. So for a start, those people that love reading scripts might give you a favorite, they might give you an upvote. We've got scripts on the site now which have got nearly 100 likes or favorites on a script. That will get you more exposure. You can add a poster on there. It turns out industry members, they freaking love posters, dude. Honestly, they love seeing posters. It tells them everything they need to know. Just like we like posters when we go to see a movie.
Yeah.
If they win a prestigious award, and I'm very tight about what I personally consider a prestigious award as someone working, because I know what producers say, and no producer is telling me, oh my God, I heard about this script which won the Hollywood Beach Boulevard slugline competition for best slugline on page 3 in a horror. They don't care about that. So at the moment, it's Austin, Nicole, and Stage 32 because I know their process of trying to get writers exposure.
Yeah.
If they've got high profile coverage, and by high profile coverage I mean coverage which is not anonymous.
Yes.
So if they've got coverage from, at the moment, Scriptreader Pro, allowing people to actually choose who gives them coverage, and they've got full transparency on their bio. Stage 32 are offering that as well, so they can get in off that, and all these different ways mean they can get exposed in different
very
ways.
Good.
Yeah. So
I like that.
So
So we will let's dive into commercially oriented. Is this a platform more for indie? Is this a platform more for industry?
That's really interesting because I built it for indie audiences. I built it for students who are making short scripts, directors who are trying to break in the industry making short scripts. It was very heavily focused on that. We have what's called Shooting the Shorts on there. We give them a home. These are people that review short scripts and give them big positive, exposure that highlight good short scripts. So that was a big part of it. But it was the idea of let's go for these directors who are outside of Hollywood, these small directors who are all around the world who can't find anything because they can't get into these little cliques. They don't know where to go. They can't get access. So it was targeting them as well. So there was a lot of these small indie producers and directors popping up. They're actors as well who are looking for material to just practice in some cases or attach themselves to. But what's interesting is it actually is pulling in some bigger players, particularly in the TV movie side. And I know that that parallels with indie a lot. I know that the big TV production,
movies of the week and things like that.
Yeah, it's that area. But I think, that's so much higher profile, because if you can get a movie on like Lifetime or Hallmark or something like that, you're probably going to look at that movie potentially getting global distribution in the long term. It's not just like an indie film with like a big indie. So that's really interesting. We've had a guy who's been picked up by producers who are targeting the like of Netflix and some of the big TV shows. And he had a movie shot this year in Utah.
Awesome.
And that'll be going out.
Discovered on Script Revolution.
On Script Revolution, my friend. Yeah,
that's absolutely beautiful. And I got to tell you, because getting on Lifetime, people don't realize how hard it is. It's because I had a script got repped at Lifetime. And the way they did it, they did the U.S. market. They did the market in Spain, and they did the market in France. And so I wrote the script, and it got pitched over there. The U.S. loved it. I was like, great, right? France loved it. I was like, of course they did. Spain,
that's important.
Spain was like, we don't want it. I was like, oh, Spain,
come on,
why?
Come on.
Yeah. So
man, crikey.
It's hard, but it is. It's worldwide, and they literally will have your script go out to pros in those markets worldwide to say, will this fly? It's not just like you're just trying to impress one producer. So to get that kind of a success on Script Revolution is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it's making a difference, man.
It's a chap called Jerry Robbins, and Jerry Robbins got in early. So, the smarter writers got in very early, got their material on, and started building up likes and stuff like that. The cool thing is you can follow a writer on Script Revolution. So if you like the look of a writer, you can just hit follow. And you'll get a stream, like a wall of their latest updates and new scripts and things like that.
Okay.
And people can put their IMDb star meter little picture on there as well.
Yeah.
By writers who are, in the top 50,000 and things like that.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a little bit strange. And what's really cool, it's the nerdy side of things, is you get like, I don't know, like the person who was a location manager on Tremors, or the person who did special effects on Aliens, or these, you get these really cool like people within the industry coming on there, and that to me is that's bigger than the big wigs joining.
I mean, it sounds like a good way to get exposure, right?
It
really does. If you've got a good script, you can make a good poster.
Well, the poster thing helps, I have to admit. And I know people
get it on there.
That can polarize people.
Oh no, we did it. We just did one. I'm co-writing a script with Joanne Hess. She's really, really talented, and we're writing a kids animated feature. We just made a poster for it, sent it out to the producer because they're shopping it, and the first thing they said, I love this poster. It's like,
you get a picture says 1,000 words, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If you go and buy a book, it's got a cover. If you go buy a CD, the last thing a music album needs is a picture on to convince you that it's good music, but it works and it sells.
Yeah, it all sells it.
Thing behind it.
I love it. Absolutely awesome. So what else is going on with Script Revolution? Do you have anything in development for it? Any kind of new things coming down the pipe?
The good thing about it is because it's small, because it's just me. Like the people, like sometimes people talk about Script Revolution, they're like the people behind Script Revolution.
I'm talking to the guy right now,
and it's like, this is Script Revolution. What you're looking at here is this is the office, this is the headquarters, this is the towers of Script Revolution. It's just me, and I don't necessarily know if I can do the things I want to do. I'm learning on the fly all the time, but it makes it so organic. Like for instance, at the moment, there's some quite interesting areas of coverage popping up. Coverage is getting weird. Coverage is getting really weird right now, and the term coverage is redefining itself on a seemingly daily basis.
Hey, let's talk about coverage for a second. Let's talk about it, because you brought it up a few times. So with coverage, one thing I find interesting is the level of quality varies, but also, and then not just with coverage, but even with script doctoring, feedback, notes. Do you know who you're getting it from? Right? Because if you don't know who you're getting it from, you're probably not getting it from somebody that knows what they're talking about. When I started We Fix Your Script, one of the first things I did is I put an About Us page on there, an in-depth breakdown of who each of us are and what we've done. So that way you can look me up and you go, okay, Jeff Calhoun kind of knows what he's talking about, right? But if you get coverage from somebody and it's anonymous, why would you trust that?
Well, I think it's the same. Like if I said to you, I have got the best stock investment portfolio you could possibly ever have. I've got a stock manager who's going to take your money. He's going to give you 25% return in a year. And that person went, yeah, who's this? And you go, oh, I can't tell you who he is, but he's one of the best. And I absolutely cannot tell you his name. I can't. I have to keep it secret.
His name is Bernie.
Yeah. and it is like that. It is just like, I can't tell you who they are. Well, that's like a massive red flag. And I don't think what people realize is, like, for instance, as a producer, I get coverage on my own scripts, like through my production team. We go get coverage to convince investors that it's a script worth making, and it's a movie that's going to sell. I get very positive coverage. It was a horrible experience the first time. I was terrified because of having my fingers burnt. It was such a wonderful, positive experience to have.
Yeah.
The person who gives coverage on my scripts did like 11 years very high up in New Line, right?
Wow.
That's the level of coverage, okay? We still don't take that as gospel, and I wouldn't expect any other producer to take it as gospel either. I would expect them to go, that's just some person's opinion who's writing coverage. If at that level, the respect is medium at best, an anonymous coverage document from a website where you've paid like $20 to $40 or something like that.
Oh, you're getting cheap coverage, buddy. There's coverage that's freaking $100.
I don't care if you've got to recommend. I don't care if this person had an epiphany reading your script. It doesn't mean anything. And the thing is, what's happening is people are distorting the word coverage and selling it as feedback. And what they do is they stick a score or a recommend on it to make people think that this is going to actually get them up some kind of ladder.
Man, you're hitting on a good point here, because like, we don't offer coverage for a reason. We offer notes and evaluation, and we mentorship. Now, we don't offer coverage because in the industry itself, there's like a handful of people where coverage truly carries weight. And if I can't give you something that I know is going to carry the amount of weight that I think it does, why would I offer that to you? But people breaking into the industry or just starting out, they don't realize that. They just see coverage and it's a term they've heard somewhere or read it on the internet or got it from a book, and they think, well, let me do this. And it's just that matter of experience. And yeah, man,
they get it. They get it from other screenwriters. This is the big problem I see. And we have huge community problems. We have huge break-in community issues. And the biggest issue is, firstly, that anyone that seems to succeed or have professional experience gets pushed out of screenwriting communities like a witch, because they come in and talk about what they've seen, how they've had success, and because it doesn't match the status quo, they're just like, no, burn them, that's not right. They can't say these things. Don't kill the cult. Don't come in and destroy the cult. And this cult thing is, there's these two words that really bother me. It's the word legit and the word solid, and I see this a lot. Because I go on, I don't post much these days because it's terrifying to go into these places and speak the truth. And you'll get this screenplay competition's legit. This screenplay competition's legit. This is legit. This is legit. And it's like, yeah, you're saying it's legit because you bought a ticket, dude. Of course you're going to say it's legit. And people tell each other, and they go, oh, that's legit. That's legit. That's legit. And the list just gets longer and longer and longer. And the other one is people say, oh, that coverage is solid. That feedback's solid. It's solid feedback. It's solid coverage. And it's like, you don't know. How would you know?
You got to do your research. What are they trying to do for you? What can they provide you? Now let's talk about festivals, because I run one. I run Script Summit. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was listed as a top 20. But here's why. We offer winners a contract with a Hollywood talent manager. So if somebody wins, they get represented, right? That's a huge deal. And we get cash prizes because we provide value. So that makes our festival, quote, legit, right?
I was on Fiverr recently, going through, having a look at, it was like film PR or film marketing services or something like that. I was looking for my own interest. I saw an advert for a screenwriting competition on Fiverr who was selling advertising space on their Facebook community. Man. It's that bad, and there's something like 1,500 screenwriting competitions now listed on Film Freeway. It is scary.
There is a ton.
People are paying to get on a mailing list. because there's no transparency. They don't know if the scripts are getting judged. They don't know if someone just picks their friend's scripts and says they're the winners. We know that no one cares who those winners are with a lot of these competitions. But what's happening is people are getting spam because the mailing list is being sold. I know where they're being sold.
No, well, listen. So as a guy who runs Script Summit, I actually this week, I'm not even exaggerating, CJ, I got an email from a pretty decently well-known festival, I'd say close to the level that we're on, who wanted to swap email lists. And I'm telling my listeners now, anybody who's ever submitted to the festival, I will not betray you like that. I would never do that. Would it help the festival grow? Absolutely. Will I do that? 100% not. That is wrong. I mean, you guys entrusted me with this, with your email, with your information. Why would I give that away? The other thing I want to mention about festivals is because you have legit festivals, like we have a festival like ours where you can get a manager, but there are festivals that don't offer that, but they can offer something else. They might have a bustling community that is open arms, welcoming you in. That's value. That gives you something. You can go there knowing like I'm going to be welcome into this community. I can network within it. That's an awesome thing. That's legit. But there are festivals out there that are selling space. That's crazy to me, CJ. And they're just trying to make money. And that's it. Yeah.
You can print money. I mean, there's no transparency. There's no, policy or anything like that when you set up a screen any kind of film festival. You can just go online. You can go on these sites now that allow you to list them. You can set something up. No one's investigating whether or not you even have a screening or judge the entrance. You can basically just print money with these things. People will enter. And I've got nothing against someone entering to try and get the cash prize. I got nothing, or biggest like,
or even to find out where they fall within their peers. But
maybe.
But you're right about the festivals that are kind of like nobody knows, because there was one that they did research on. This one festival, they were trying to find out where it was, and they ended up finding out it was in the middle of the desert with no address or anything. It was just like a middle of a desert, and they couldn't find the guy that was running it. And I think he made a couple of grand.
They can run away with the money. And I've seen some where every single person who entered became a finalist with a laurel. And of course, if people get laurels, they go online and they share the laurels, and then that gives the festival more exposure. People, it's even more legit now. Like, people don't realize that they're basically paying to market these companies and paying to become a pawn in their kind of quite cynical and predatory operation. And I just don't get why people would do that, because no one is going to come knocking on your door because you've won these competitions. Now, when I started Script Revolution, I was only aware of maybe a dozen screenwriting competitions, and I said, send me your results and I will add them to your scripts. Okay. And they'll be verified, and you'll make it into the awards winning section stuff. That's the way of doing it. I was getting like 50 submissions a week. And what was scary was every submission I was getting, I was adding a new competition. I wasn't adding it to an existing competition. I was adding yet another new competition, weekly competitions, monthly competitions that were divided down into more and more kind of obscure sections, like, like best use of italics on a title page. And you just kind of like, they're just inventing this stuff. Come on. And it got to the point, and I had quite a controversial month or two where I imploded quite publicly on the whole thing. I could let myself down a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I went a bit crazy. Went online, started just attacking all these competitions, tell them to all go F themselves.
Yeah.
And I said, these are not going to be acceptable on Script Revolution anymore. This is not just making my platform look worse. This is making the screenwriters look worse, because they're listing like 15, 20, 30 competitions a year that they've entered, and they're getting like quarter finalists in these competitions. Come on, this couldn't be more meaningless. And I was worried that I was part of this system which is getting people addicted. That was my big fear.
That I could see that. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in the chain because I have this platform where people can get more.
Well, that takes a level of self-awareness, CJ. I got to tell you.
Well, I mean, I'm in a similar position to you. tomorrow I could say, hey, the Script Revolution screenplay competition is open for business.
Where can I buy some space?
Yeah, you'll be on the front page, which gets 1 million hits per year. You'll be on the front page. Yeah, it does get 1 million hits per year at the moment.
Yeah, I'm in 100
more this year. And you buy in, come on, let's all join. And it would go around the internet. People are, oh, it's legit, it's a legit competition, it's big. Script Revolution's been around, they've got 8,000 members, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And the Script Revolution headquarters, I tell you what, I'd be getting new curtains.
It's looking glorious.
I'd be getting buying new curtains.
You're looking at the head of Script Summit screenplay contest right here.
This murder is incredible. It's polite, if anything. It's like a one wing in a wing of each side of a mansion. But the thing is, people don't necessarily realize this. Like, I could become a very rich man tomorrow if I started offering coverage from anonymous readers, which is just me reading your script and paying, you paying me $50 a time,
right?
And entering competition. I had a huge web platform, one of the biggest web platforms for up and coming authors, came to me and said, we want to run a competition through Script Revolution.
Wow.
And I said no, and I pointed them in the direction of a competitor, so to speak, one of these other sites. I said, you want to go there? I don't believe in competitions. Off you go. And I get a lot of that. I get a lot of people, judging competition, whatever. And I have to say no to it, because keeping Script Revolution pure is a tough job, but it is so rewarding to be able to hold my head up high in a group of people. And I'm not trying to get into your wallet, and I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper.
Well, you know what that makes you, right? It makes you legit.
Well, it doesn't. That's a funny thing. It doesn't, because if there's one thing I've found in the last 4 years, it's being free and caring about the art more than anything.
No, I get it, man. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, I get you. And the right people.
I respect it.
The right people, the filmmakers respect it.
I do.
Industry members respect it. But generally speaking, on most screenwriting forums, it's like, it's free. I want exclusivity.
Dude, don't even get me started on that. So I think I wouldn't have had you on if I didn't respect it, first of all. Second of all,
appreciate it.
There are forums out there that are toxic. I go on.
There's some that aren't.
There are some that aren't. There's some pretty good Facebook groups out there. I've seen some pretty good Facebook groups.
Okay.
Yeah, don't choke. And but there are some toxic forums on there where I tried to go on one where people were struggling. Writers are struggling, and then I gave them an honest answer, and then I got destroyed by the community. I was like, I don't think I'm welcome here. So
you won't be.
You won't be, because comebacks.
Because almost every community has like this kind of self-established brain trust of members who are on there 24/7. Who always have like, oh, I've got this deal going on in China, or this person read my script, and it's like, can you share your IMDb credits? How dare you ask for IMDb credits? Don't you know who I am?
You don't know my genius.
And they explain, you don't know my genius. Yeah, it is like that. And they take any working professional as a huge challenge to their status, especially when you come in and you say, this person is talking nonsense. This person is talking, I can tell you now, this is backward, because I am finding quite often I go into communities and it is upside down. It is like the upside down in Stranger Things. I'm like, this is dark, this is horrible, and everything is opposite to how it should be. These people. Well,
you try and give them like honest, sincere feedback. You're not trying to be mean. You're like, well, no, it's not that way. But they don't want to hear. But dude, some guy got obsessed with me, started pretending to be me, and went through and like tried blowing up all of my social media. It was like scary. And I was like, scary. And I'm like, I'm not even famous. People don't know who the hell I am. Somebody somewhere might have heard of me once. Like I'm the guy when they walk down the street, people go up to me and go like, are you my wife's second cousin? Like that's how I get recognized. I don't people are pulling me off on the street. I'm just a bald dude. So all right, I want to hear about your new, you got like a feature coming out, right?
I do, yeah. It's
All right, tell me
kind
about
of
it.
exciting, but kind of nerve-wracking at the same time. So yeah, didn't come off the back of Script Revolution, but it did come off blogging and someone going to my website, seeing a poster and being like, I'm going to read this guy's material. I like what he's got to say.
Nice.
They found a script of mine. It was like it wasn't really appropriate for their marketing channel, so I wrote a movie on assignment. That movie is Break Even. Which stars Tassia Teles. We've got Steve Gutenberg in it.
Wow.
We've got James Callis. We've got Ivan Sergey. Joe
cast.
Reitman's in it. Yeah, the cast's huge. Actually, the cast is like nearly. This was an obscene number of people in the cast, and it's like an action thriller. It's very exciting about these four kids who find it's for adults. Sorry, I don't call them kids, for adults. I'm showing my age. Who find $50 million of stolen money and go on the run to go get it cleaned, led by this lead character called Jack, played by Tassia Teles. Amazing. And yeah, we shot it last year. I went over to LA and got to see it all going down. We got boat chases, got car chases and things like that. It's a pretty cool movie. And yeah, we got a distribution deal this year despite COVID. We've gone physical and VOD because theatrical is just it's dead. It's dead.
I can't. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. I'm going to get teary-eyed.
Let's not even open that dark door.
That's another episode.
Let's not weep. Let's not kill people's hope after bringing it up. But yeah, we got a fantastic distribution deal, and it's available. Like you will be able to walk into like Walmart on December the 1st and buy this off the shelf. And it's so funny because I know a lot of people would be like, I don't want to be that writer that ends up, going
Are you kidding me?
Or whatever. And it's like, you don't realize how hard it is. That's like, you don't realize. So we, and that was really hard getting in there. They don't say yes to a lot of material, and it's going to be on like pretty much any form of video on demand in North America from December the 1st.
I can see you going to like every Walmart that you find and buying a copy of it.
Well, being in the UK, it's going to be a long walk. But
okay. Well, here in the States, it's like a mile.
I haven't seen the final cut. I've seen bits of the movie. I haven't even seen the final cut. I'm not sure when we will be in the UK. But yeah, so it's all getting exciting. We're doing some social media. There's breakevenmovie.com. You can go on there and you can follow on Instagram and
hit me up when it comes out. I'll take a photo of it. I'll go get a copy.
I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
You can pre-order on Amazon if you
we might do that. Yeah, I don't like leaving the house.
No,
there's a killer virus outside.
We are writers.
It's funny that you mentioned that though about going to Walmart and trying to take a picture of it, because when I was in a magazine, I bought like 30 copies.
I mean, you stopped at 30. Was that because the bank account just hit 0 at 30? You're like, oh no, I've got no line of credit.
I was giving them out like business cards.
You
seen this magazine that my name is in?
I honestly see some interesting stuff where people like they're elsewhere in a magazine and they will scan it in so it looks like they're on the cover, or they'll move things around. You see all kinds of.
What's the name of your website that they discovered Break Even on? Because you said it wasn't through Script Revolution. Did you have like your own website?
Oh, the spec scripts. So I've got cjwalley.com.
Okay, there you go.
And I try to lead by example with that. And but I blog a lot, and I tell people. They should do everything.
Sweet.
Everyone should do everything. But for me, I feel like blogging is the online equivalent of networking.
Yeah. We have a blog that we do as well. So that's fantastic.
Good. And I've been blogging for a long time, and I'm very opinionated in my blogging, and I kind of ended up going full circle on the irony on this. Like one of my articles I wrote, which did quite well, was like how we should stop caring about Hollywood. This boom or bust mentality. It's like, screw Hollywood. I don't want to work there. If you don't want me, I don't want you. There's plenty of other places in the world. And then of course this director in LA, sees the article and it's like, oh yeah, this guy hates Hollywood. We all hate Hollywood here. He's one of us. He's not even been here and he already hates the town. And it was that kind of like, I like the cut of this guy's jib. He's opinionated, he's strong, but I think being strong and opinionated is a powerful thing as long as it comes from passion.
No, I think you just have to be your authentic you. Like, this is CJ Walley. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to a facade of you. I try and be optimistic and positive and hopeful and show that path because that's what I needed when I was first coming up. And now I'm in the position to be that for others. Yes, this is me. And I think you found your voice, dude. It's fantastic. And I look forward to.
And I tell other people. I say, get out there and blog. I blogged recently for Indie Film Hustle. Shout out to Indie Film Hustle.
Well,
I did a little blog for them about how a spec screenplay is like a business plan.
Yeah,
and it's trying to make people understand. We talked about commercial scripts. Like you send someone a spec. That is a business plan. Start thinking like a business person when you do this, or understand how business people think. So yeah, blogging worked well for me. I tell everyone else to do it. No one does it. It's like, okay, you're a writer, but you don't actually want to go out and write or have an opinion. They're terrified of offending someone or upsetting someone, and it's like, it's so powerful. Get on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is huge right now.
Yeah, I do a lot of networking on LinkedIn.
I'm terrified to even mention it because I'm worried it's going to turn into Facebook. It's like
the way their platform is,
LinkedIn is cool.
There is some extremism in there, but all right. Well, I got to tell you, I got to be honest. You are the guest I've had on this show the longest, and I'm
going to take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
Will you please leave? So will you please leave? This is a podcast. Leave. We have lives.
I'm trying to compliment you, but I can withdraw the compliment. No, actually,
okay, I'm British. I demand you do. I can't. Yeah. Or be happy.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share in your social media where you can tag us at The Successful Screenwriter.